Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be talking to you about just kind of planning some stuff aviation style. Oh, hey, Shecky. Hey, Dan. Welcome to the chat and welcome, viewers. Okay, so as usual for for this show, I hardly know what I'm going to be doing, and so I just started reading a book a little while ago, and I will show it to you. It's by Kim Casey Campbell, Flying in the Face of Fear. Who doesn't like a good aviation book, right? So this book here, it kind of piqued my interest because I saw some YouTube videos of this, and I've been I go through like book phases, and this is kind of something that's done. Someone's better than me at stuff. Maybe I'll learn something. So, anyways, I was just reading this today, and I saw before this morning. I saw this guy driving a truck down the road, and I was looking. It was like a pickup truck. A couple guys were in there with these hard hats with kind of face shields that were flipped up, and so they were landscapers, and they were hauling this really good looking stump grinder. And I don't know what it is, but it's like sometimes you just see some sort of machinery, and you just go like, man, I don't know what that is, but that's nice, So I was like, okay. Well, and then they kind of went and turned around. So just up the road here, somebody cut down a tree. And so there was this gang, I'm assuming, of 3 guys. So there was 2 in the pickup truck, and then there was a bigger truck parked further down the road. And there was these 3 guys. And I was thinking, how would that work if you're going to go grind a stump for a tree that you cut down, right? And if you didn't know what a stump grinder is, it's this little wheelie dealy thing. It goes around and kind of chips away the leftover stump on the ground, and they kind of go back and forth, and they grind it all up so that the stump isn't sticking up from the grass. Okay. And then so I was like, how would you do that? And that it kind of clued in that just this morning I was reading in the book about how Kim Casey Campbell was Colonel Kim Colonel Kim Casey Campbell. She was so what they would do. Got my little bookmark here. Yeah, there we go. Ground beef on sale. After what they called red flag exercises. So I was thinking, it's like whether you're going to be grinding a stump or you're going to be flying any old flight, like many of the flights that I've flown, or like actual like combat missions like her, or even I don't know, it's any type of like planning coordination that you need to be done, say like a wedding planner or something like that. It's like, okay, this is a great little thing that she wrote down on actual page 65 in her book. And I'm going to kind of just to, everyone likes their little acronyms, and in aviation, there's tons of acronyms. So we're going to call this one beep, beep, beep. Okay. And the first one is, what are we doing for our little event or whatever thing we're doing today? You have to prepare. Okay, here we go. Planning considerations. Number 1, you got to prepare. Yeah, and let's put a little red on there just to make it. See, because this is from the red flag exercises, and so this is the red team. That's kind of the bad guys. And then the blue team, you're the good guys. You're the Air Force. So we're going to do some equality here with some red and blue. And so prepare. Yeah. So just from the book. Oh, and that's my wonderful whiteboard, of course. And Nefarious is here. Shecky, Dan, everybody. Hello. Yeah. So prepare this from page 65. And I quote, we must evolve and adapt so that when the situation demands it, we are prepared to execute. So how can we best prepare, practice, and plan for contingencies in our organization? So prepare, do the work to be prepared. So, and there's a couple bullet points here, or 3 of them. What research can be done in advance? So our number 1 here is prepare. And okay, how would we prepare for grinding a stump or planning a wedding or something like that? Okay, what research can be done in advance? Okay, so what kind of wood is it? Is it some old oak tree? How big is the stump? Is it like a 150-year-old elm or something? Those things can get huge. Do you need maybe the turbocharged stump grinder? And actually, for researching this, I found out you can get a turbocharged stump grinder. That sounds cool. I've never used a stump grinder, but anything turbocharged is awesome. So, yeah. So, what research can be done in advance? How many people are showing up at the wedding? There's you got to prepare for that. Okay, the second bullet point, what data or information are available to show what has or hasn't worked in the past? So, you're grinding your stump out there. What has not worked in the past? Maybe, um, I don't know. If you want to use the big heavy guns there, maybe it's in a muddy section and you can't really get it in. If you are, what has or hasn't worked in the past? If the bride's family is, I don't know, they hate each other or something, you might want to separate them and put them on different side, different tables or something like that. Okay, and prepare. What are the objectives? So that's the third thing. What are the objectives? Well, you want to grind the stump, right? Well, I don't know. Is that really just your objective, just to grind the stump? Do you want your customer to have a nice experience? Good morning, Mrs. Smith. Maybe you might want to sweep off the, all the little wood chips and stuff off the sidewalk afterwards, make it nice and neat, give a good experience there. And is that your objective, or just cut the thing? Who cares? Now you can see, like, if you do what's your objective, that can kind of get you thinking a little bit more, and maybe you'll do a better business. Or what's the objective? You want the bride and groom to get married. Whatever. Make sure people got food. Or do you want it to be like something like a fantastic magical experience with horses and whatever? I don't know. Okay, so that's our first P. The second one here is practice. Okay, I'll get that down here so we don't forget. Practice. Practice makes perfect, and the more you practice, the better you get. Surprise, surprise. That's very true in aviation. And so if you don't know how to land a plane at first, it's normal. Eventually, you'll pick it up. And okay, we'll put that guy there. Prepare and practice. Okay, let's see what Kim says. Practice, rehearse, or visualize to find opportunities for improvement. Practice creates clarity and boosts confidence among our team. Practice also improves buy-in when we include team members. Teams that have put the work into practice will be more productive and are more likely to achieve success. I would tend to believe that. Kind of makes sense, but it's kind of cool that she actually stuck it in the book here, and it's like, oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. Photocopy that, stick it up on the lunch board or something like that. Okay, so the first bullet point, rehearse critical meetings and presentations. So now this is something, I'm not surprised she put that in there, because it's like I was doing like a bunch of, I guess, putting a little bit of practice, a little bit of research, a little preparedness into this show. Is that I checked out a few of her YouTube videos. It's all over the YouTubes, and she does a lot of public speaking, and that she's really good, and you can tell she practices at that. There's no way she's just going up there and just going. But she actually is like she kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. So very good job there. Rehearse critical meetings and presentations. So yeah, if it's a critical meeting, yeah, you mean like, oh, we got to get the sales on this customer here is asking us to grind the stump for the tree. Like, you don't want to just show up there like hungover and stinking or something. Yeah, I can do it. It's like, okay, you're not getting the job. The other guy's gonna get it that shows up and like is sober and doesn't stink. Okay, or rehearse critical meetings and presentations. And yeah, weddings, they always have a rehearsal, usually the night before the wedding. So that's cool. You can, and there's no rule to say if you're planning, maybe the rehearsal doesn't go that great. What about a couple rehearsals? I don't know. They usually say not to, but I don't know. Usually just one, but that's just what they say. Who's to say you can't charge them for a couple of them and have like a really awesome wedding? Okay, meet with team members to do a walkthrough of new plans or decisions and assess how it might affect the organization. This would be a tough one for bosses to get because, I mean, she's always talking about leadership in here and even says a fighter pilot's lessons on leading with courage. So I've always found that, there's a little bit difference between a boss and a leader, just in my experience. And it's like a leader will take suggestions from the people that actually do the work, because you're not just bossing them, do this, do this, do this, do this. You're leading them, so like maybe you will do it too, and then they follow you. Like, okay, I'm going to do this first. And I found that when I was a chief flight instructor, yeah, they you got to go out there and lead by example. So you got to do more work. So, but if you do it, the you get your employees to follow you, and just don't be a jerk about anything. And if they see you doing the same work as them, it's like, well, okay, well, the boss is out there doing it too. He's not just sitting there drinking scotch in his office and buggering off at 5 o'clock. So yeah, and then eventually you get to the point where, as a leader, you start the work off, but then you develop the pattern and the habit of your employees will just start doing it on their own, and then you just go, "Thank you," and it makes your job easier. So, okay, so that's my interpretation of that. She doesn't really talk about that in the book. That's my own. But yeah, clarify new roles and responsibilities. Yeah, it's what is that? Sun Tzu, Art of War. Yeah, it's like if the generals, what does it say? If the general's orders are not clear, then you got to fire the general. And then if the general's orders are clear, and the soldiers don't do it, then you got to discipline the soldiers. So you got to have clear instructions. If it's not clear instructions, that's the boss's or the leader's fault. And you can always say, "Whoops, sorry, I really meant this. Let's do that now." Okay, and then we got our third P here: prepare, practice, and plan for contingencies. Here we go. Oop. Oh, here we go. You want to plan for contingencies? Ooh, I dropped my blue marker. Where could it be? No big deal. I got some backup. So, anyways, there we go. We're planning for contingencies here. That's how it's done, folks. On the superpilotish channel, we are plan for contingencies. Plan for contingencies in my finest chicken scratch. There we go. There's all three: prepare, practice, and plan for contingencies. But you think about it, if you're doing a big presentation, what if your marker runs dry? Got any backup? Something to think about. Anyways, okay, so planning for contingencies helps mitigate risk. Once we think through contingencies, we will be better prepared to execute, respond under stress, and face difficult moments. Okay, yeah, so we're planning for contingencies. What happens if our stump grinder runs out of gas? Do we got a backup jerry can in the truck? Oh, yeah, I was thinking about that. Just thinking about like a backup and stuff like that. As a pilot, I like to have lots of redundancy in my systems or something like that. I don't like to run out of ketchup, so I got backup ketchup, in the storage room there. And so yeah, it's like, and now I do. There was like, if you got your spare tire in your car, do you ever check the air pressure of the spare tire in your car? I learned the hard way once. You should do that because I got a flat tire and I thought I'd be Mr. Hero. And I was like, oh, I jack up the car. Everything's cool. First time I actually had a flat, no problem. I know what to do. jacked it up. So proud of myself. Put the tire on there, lower it down, and the spare tire was flat. So it's like, so I drove that one home on the rim. But anyways, it was all messed up. But yeah, so if you are plan for contingencies, what's going to happen here. What if the best man forgets the ring? You got a backup ring that like kind of looks okay. Actually, I did that. I was the best man at a guy's wedding once, and I don't know what happened. I lost my little handkerchief to go in here. So one of my buddies, who's actually a pilot, he's like, "Oh, no problem, man. You got like this paper towel and just stuck it here." It's like in the wedding photos and stuff, everyone's got their nice little handkerchiefs. I got a paper towel. It looks just as good. In fact, it's got kind of like a little bit sharper edge to it. So it's like, well, the best man has to look good too, right? Okay. What is the response to the worst case scenario? Okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? You're grinding your stump, injury, man. Do you have the proper eye protection? These guys had face shields. Good job. And steel-toed boots, all that other fun stuff. And were people trained? Oh, that's with practice. Okay. Consider creating a red team to ask tough questions and review the plan from a different perspective. Okay, by red team, in this the red flag training that she talks about in the book. There's another little plug, and so it's like one of the goals, one of the jobs of the red team, the enemy, is to kind of say like, okay, and they get to play the devil's advocate and say like, why didn't you do this, or you could have done this better maybe. But that's their job. So if you tell someone, okay, you're the leader, and you tell somebody, okay, it's your job to be nasty. Well, not really nasty, but it's your job to be critical. The more critical you are, and maybe you got a few people there, you're the critical people. And probably the best people for that would be the ones that nobody gets along with, because they love, some people love to point out faults and stuff like that. And you can use that to your advantage. So yeah, very good. Okay, in summary, on page 65, in today's complex dynamic environment, preparation is fundamental to success in leadership. Whether we are facing a difficult decision, making changes in our organization, or anticipating a critical meeting, we should prepare, practice, and plan for contingencies. Nice summary. It's almost like she's done a debriefing before. If you want to lead with courage, then do the work. Be prepared to respond and adjust when the mission or life doesn't go as planned. Yep, you got to be flexible about this stuff too. That's one of the things that we actually tested for when I was a pilot examiner. Is you would do that kind of stuff. What happens if you notice that your engine is running rough? It's still running fine. What airport would you land at? Why would you land at that one? Do they have a mechanic there that can look at your engine? So yeah, so a lot of those what ifs, be flexible, because nothing ever goes exactly. In my experience, it's like everything always takes longer than you think, and there's always something that screws up. So that every talk to any pilot out there, and I've said it for years. It's like you can plan and plan and plan and plan. You get up in the air, everything changes, and you just do your best. So there you go. Do it on the ground too. Okay, so that's about it for. Well, thanks, Kim, for giving me about 20 minutes worth of talking, and there you go. So far, so good on the book. I think I'll probably do a final review on it. Maybe I'll give her a fine debriefing on her book, and if she sees it, I don't know. And maybe she'll learn more on her next one. Okay, so far so good though. All right, and that is that. So we're just gonna go through and the usual. See if we got any questions, comments, any good jokes. Why did the pilot cross the road? I don't know. To get to the airport. Yeah, there you go. That's bad. I just made it up. I got an excuse. Okay. What do we got here? Okay. Oh, what's this? The Iron Luke. Good day. Check this out. We got a good day all from a new guy here, or somebody. Oh, they are. And Luke, good day to you too, sir. What else we got here? Oh, there we go. So Shecky says that his wife does webinars. She preps for days. Yeah, there is something. There's definitely something to that. That the more you practice, the better you get. I don't do that here, but but whatever. It's like, but I must say, it's like the more you do it, the better you get. My first videos here were just like I'm here, like, oh, what? So I'd like to think I got a little bit better, and I do make sure that I prepare just enough for the show. But I mean, I'm not turning this into a full-time job or nothing. Forget it. Okay. Oh, here we go. Wrench is he's a pilot too, and he says, "You work for the boss. The leader is one of you." Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think I put it like that, but yeah, there's definitely a difference between you say that person's a leader, and yeah, there's the boss again bitching at me. So, anyways, and who would you rather work for, a boss or a leader? Hmm? I know what I would pick. Okay. Oh, here we go. Hey, Adam. Let's see what Adam has to say. And a leader won't ask you to do something you wouldn't do for them. They wouldn't do for themselves. Yep. There you go. Yeah, that was like the worst bosses I ever had is like they didn't know what they're doing. And they'd tell me to do something wrong. And I'd be like, that's wrong. Well, just do it. All right. As a machinist, I had this one guy. I actually told the boss, it's like, all right, fire up the welder. We're going to start making scrap. And so I made a bunch of scrap. And then he complained that, why are we making all the scrap? It's because we're doing it wrong, like you told me, man. And then I got pissed off and quit. Oh, well, whatever. Things got better. I ended up getting into flying. So, okay, and we have some fans of weddings and non-fans of weddings. Yep, I can understand why, but anyways. Okay, cool. And Shecky, I will brag about your compliment here too. Oop. There we go. It's always enjoyable over here. Cheers. Yeah, thanks for showing up, Shecky. And Vanessa Kitty. There we go. Vanessa, she was in the Air Force too. She knows what we're talking about. Okay, so that's about it. Oh, Vanessa's here. We got to go. Bad timing, but I'm glad you showed up. You can rewatch it there, Vanessa. And yeah, so that's about it. Today is Friday. So not pizza day. I think I'm going to have some tacos today. I usually kind of flip back and forth between tacos and pizza. You got to treat yourself every once in a while. And what else we got here? Friday. So I'll be back on Monday. Why? Because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll just kind of shut her down. So thank you for watching. Bye.